The next topic is very, very close to my heart. Being a New Zealander, half Irish as well, and living in France for the past 30 years, so 3 nationalities, if you like. Cross-border cooperation, uniting across borders, enhancing cancer prognosis through global scientific collaboration. And I think people are still coming into the room, but I can call on Dr. Agnieszka Janowska from the Institute of Oncology in Poland to talk about the European Jane 2 initiative, the European project. Perfect way to start the session on cross-border collaboration. Welcome. Thanks very much.
Welcome. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm honored to be here. My name is Agnieszka Janowska. I'm from Warsaw, Poland, from National Research Institute. I would like to say a few words about Jane 2 initiative. It's an European project. Let's check if it works.
So the big green button.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. Before I will talk about our initiative, what we are doing right now, a few words about the background, what was happening in European Union regarding poor prognosis cancers. When in 2022 France was leading European Union, there has been signed a political declaration, a list of actions against cancer. In the same time, they were finalizing works on IPAC, on Innovative Partnership for Action Against Cancer. And on that time, in IPAC, there was defined, there was a definition for poor prognosis cancer, which we are using today as well. So it is those whose survival rate at the time of discovery is estimated to be below 33% after 5 years. We are excluding rare tumors in here. It was very important for us at the beginning, working on our project, to have very detailed definition of poor prognosis cancers, because the full name is complex and poor prognosis cancers. And at the beginning, it was a little bit confusing to understand, to define the subject of the project. After that, there has been established EU for Health program in European Union, and based on that, there have been lots of projects dedicated to cancer. There were CRANE project, JANE project, project dedicated also to precision medicine, and now in 2025 we have huge collaborations of almost each European Union countries working on EU-NetCC projects, on Jane 2 project, and now in June we are starting also with a PCM project. I will focus on Jane 2. As I have mentioned, joint actions are collaborative projects involving European Union countries with objectives to address key EU health policy priorities. What's unique for this program in European Union? It's not specific classical, let's say, research program, but it is dedicated also to competent authorities. So we believe that there's big strength of this to make collaboration between authorities, those who can make decisions, with research, with the knowledge. Jane 2 specifically is the joint action aiming to build 7 new transversal networks of expertise. The list of those you can see on the right side. So it's complex and poor prognosis cancers. It's personalized primary, secondary cancer prevention, survivorship, palliative care, IA, omics technologies, and high tech. So very specific objectives. Jane 2 in numbers. The total cost for the project is over 50 million euros. It will last for 4 years, has started in November 2024, so still we have lots of time. It is a consortium of 125 participants from 29 participating countries in EU. And those participants are public bodies, including cancer institutes, universities, hospitals, research institutes, ministries of health. And the coordinator of this project is Istituto Nazionale Tumori in Milan, in Italy. Now I would like to focus specifically on network of expertise for complex and poor prognosis cancers. We have privilege to have honored people engaged in this work package. It is being led by Iwona Ługowska and Mew Nilbert from Poland and Sweden together. We have engaged specialists from Denmark, France, Poland, Italy, Portugal, etc. in this work package. Each of them is responsible for another task. I will speak about them in a moment. But what are the goals for this work package? Why do we do it? It is to improve survival and quality of life. It is to innovate cancer research, to enhance education and trainings, to reduce health inequalities, and to ensure sustainable impact. How to do it? By focusing on two, let's say, pilot domains. We, as whole community, decided to focus on pancreas cancer and lung cancer and prepare networks of expertise for these two domains. They will be such a sort of pilots, examples for future domains. Each of these domains will be provided, we will be working on them, focusing on different tasks, on care, research, education, policy, and of course, all those management tasks like dissemination, evaluation, and sustainability. In care, we'll be focusing, and we are focusing right now, we would like to map recommendations for prevention, early diagnosis, therapy, and access to supportive care for poor prognosis cancers, developing KPIs and collaboration with other projects, especially EU-NET CCC. In research task, there's a plan to identify and map omics and high-tech medical resources in EU clinical and transnational research centers, designing pilot clinical studies to assess novel technologies in focus groups. Education task, it is to develop educational materials, online modules, supportive literature, to organize workshops and webinars. In policy, we are about to conduct survey on health policies. And the governance, of course, is to ensure full governance of this network of expertise. It is also a collaborative work of whole project, not only our work package, to work also with European Commission how to maintain those networks so that they would not be just for this 4 years, but to have sustainable network in the future. So far, what has been done? So in April this year, we have had a kickoff for network of expertise on pancreatic cancer with Mew Nilbert as a leader so far, but with big engagement also of Matthias Lohr, with Gianpaolo Tortoro, Michael Ducroix, lots of people who are already working on this network of expertise. Next month, in May, we have also established network of expertise of lung cancers with leaders from Poland and Germany, Joanna Chorostowska and Torsten Blum. We are working right now on the complex survey for each country that will be conducted by competent authorities to have a broad view of the situation of poor prognosis cancers in each country, and then to have materials to work on it, and also to expand, to express this interest in EU-NET CCC in collaboration with this very big and important initiative. Policy dialogue with our competent authorities is also very important, with ministries. So not only to have the expertise, because there are specific societies already dedicated to poor prognosis cancers or to specific domains, but how to make this expertise really have an impact on future policies, on future programs in our countries and European Union. It is the goal for the whole Jane project. Oh, I see that there's lost one slide, so I will just talk about it. It is our ambition to involve European oncology community pragmatically into bringing a creation of new kind of network and bringing all those initiatives that are already in different fields, in different areas in Europe, together to have a stronger voice with discussion with our authorities. It is also a crucial area. Oncology is European Union is very focused on oncology and bringing this subject to the patient and to achieve the goals for the 2030. So it is also an idea to create solid collaborative EU health networks whose services will contribute to improve European cancer patients and outcomes. Thank you very much. My time is over.
Thank you very much, Dr. Janowska. Thanks very much. If you want to take a seat. We talk about definitions, don't we? Definitions. When it comes to the G7 Cancer Initiative, very important to actually agree on the definitions. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Marisa Nishio from the National Cancer Center, Japan, Osaka Medical and Pharmaceutical University as well, project researcher and research fellow. This review of definitions and epidemiological features. Welcome.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of Poor Prognosis Cancer Review Project collaborators, I'd like to talk about how poor prognosis cancers are defined across the G7 cancer countries. This presentation today is based on the manuscript currently under review, titled Definitions and Epidemiological Features of Poor Prognosis Cancers Across the G7 Cancer Countries. Okay, so this is the overview of my presentation today. First, I will briefly explain the background of the G7 Cancer Initiative, and then I will go through our review findings. And finally, I will introduce a possible initiative for G7 cancer collaboration using a pancreatic cancer as an example. So the G7 Cancer Initiative was launched in May 2023 as part of France's 10-year cancer control strategy. Its main aim is to strengthen international collaboration to accelerate global progress in cancer research, prevention, and treatment. The initiative brings together 7 countries: Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States, to coordinate efforts and share the best practices in tackling cancer worldwide. The initiative brings together health agencies, research institutions, and governments from the G7 cancer countries. It encourages international cooperation and data sharing to help improve cancer patient outcomes. The G7 Cancer Initiative has set 4 key priorities: developing an international data strategy, addressing poor prognosis cancers, reducing inequalities in outcomes, and strengthening cancer prevention, including early detection and screening. To support these goals, several actions have been planned. These include a pediatric cancer data conference, working groups on prevention and equity, and international dialogues on poor prognosis cancers. This meeting is part of that effort, bringing countries together to build shared understanding and promote coordinated action for poor prognosis cancers. Within the G7 Cancer Initiative, Working Group 2 is specifically responsible for addressing poor prognosis cancers. The review I will present today was the first step taken by Working Group 2 to advance this agenda. However, when it comes to poor prognosis cancers, there is no shared definition or coordinated approach among G7 cancer countries. This lack of alignment hinders effective collaboration across borders. So we carried out a review to clarify definitions of poor prognosis cancers, identify them objectively using epidemiological data, and understand how each country is responding through national strategies. This slide summarizes the three main steps of our study. First, we reviewed national cancer plans and surveyed experts to clarify how poor prognosis cancers are defined across the G7 cancer countries. Second, we examined international cancer statistics to objectively identify poor prognosis cancers. Third, we revisited the national plans and expert inputs to understand how each country is responding through their cancer control strategies. Based on these objectives and planned steps, we began by reviewing national cancer control plans from each G7 cancer country and conducted a survey among experts in cancer epidemiology. We also used data from the Global Cancer Observatory and the Concord 3 program, which are international repositories providing standardized cancer statistics across countries. These sources provided reliable epidemiological information, which helped us apply objective criteria to identify poor prognosis cancers. This slide shows how definitions vary across countries. Australia defines poor prognosis cancers as those with 5-year relative survival of 30% or less. Canada uses a mortality to incidence ratio over 0.775, and the 5-year net survival below 30%. France includes cancers with 5-year overall survival under 30%. Japan refers to cancers that are resistant to treatment, mainly highlighting pancreatic cancer. The UK includes cancers with 5-year survival under 25%. Germany and the United States did not specify definitions in the national plans we reviewed. So based on national definitions, we applied 2 objective criteria. The first is a 5-year net survival below 30%. Using this cutoff, cancers that consistently met this threshold included pancreatic, liver, esophagus, stomach, lung, and brain cancers. Pancreatic cancer was categorized as poor prognosis in every country. The second is a mortality to incidence ratio greater than 0.75. Cancers that met this threshold included pancreatic, liver, esophagus, and brain cancers. Pancreatic cancer was again categorized as a poor prognosis cancer in all countries. We also looked at national response strategies. Each country has taken a different approach to addressing poor prognosis cancers. While Australia aims to improve all cancer outcomes, France has introduced a quick referral policy for early diagnosis of poor prognosis cancers. Germany prioritizes research to answer key questions in cancer care. Japan uses outcome indicators to improve care for poor prognosis cancers. The UK has identified 6 cancers of unmet need and is expanding lung health screening. To the best of our knowledge, Canada and the United States did not have specific national strategies focused on poor prognosis cancers in their national response strategy we reviewed. Based on these findings, we proposed 2 common criteria for identifying poor prognosis cancers. First is a 5-year survival under 30%, and a mortality to incidence ratio above 0.75. Pancreatic cancer meets both criteria and was the only cancer consistently identified across all G7 cancer countries. It should therefore be prioritized for early detection, treatment innovation, and coordinated policy. This presents a clear opportunity for international collaboration through the G7 Cancer Initiative. Many G7 cancer countries are already working to combat pancreatic cancer. These efforts include encouraging healthier lifestyles like smoking cessation and reducing alcohol use. Some countries have also introduced targeted screening for high-risk groups and awareness campaigns for early detection. These are ongoing development. There's ongoing development in genomics and AI to improve diagnosis and treatment. Still, despite these efforts, pancreatic cancer remains to be one of the poor prognosis cancers. To make progress, we need stronger international collaboration to share knowledge and align policies. As Mr. Majima and other speakers also mentioned earlier, there are already several international initiatives for pancreatic cancer. These include collaborative research consortia, advocacy groups, and early detection networks. These initiatives provide valuable platforms for knowledge sharing, coordinated research, and policy alignment, and offer useful insights and models for better treatment and earlier diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. Leveraging these existing efforts may accelerate our collaborative response and help inform future G7 cancer strategies. To summarize, harmonizing criteria for poor prognosis cancers can bring greater consistency across the G7 cancer countries. Pancreatic cancer clearly meets these criteria and should be a key focus for international collaboration too. Current initiatives provide practical examples that can be adapted within the G7 cancer framework. This can help improve early detection, accelerate treatment innovation, and inform policy development on the global scale. I'd like to end by acknowledging all the colleagues and the collaborators who contributed to this review work. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you'd like to take a seat. Let's now add the perspective of Professor Michel Ducreux from the Gustave Roussy Institute here in France and also University Paris-Saclay, Professor of Oncology and gastroenterologist. And I think I also saw you on one of the slides for the Jane 2 initiative. Welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for this kind of invitation. I would say that probably everything has been said before my presentation. So this is a little bit complicated but maybe to open the discussion, at least I will try to do that. First of all, I would take not an example first in pancreatic cancer, but to go in a different disease that is a rare cancer in GI oncology, because I am a GI oncologist. This is a biliary tract cancer. And the development of the standard of care in biliary tract cancer is a little bit interesting, I would say, because it started with academic trials. So John Nocteromos discussed about the difference between France and UK. So I am very fair. So I would say that congratulations to UK for the development of the standard of care, gemcitabine plus cisplatin in biliary tract cancer. And I am really happy about that. But after that, there has been a lot of development of targeted therapies and immunotherapy. And now the standard of care is a mix of a combination of chemotherapy, gemcitabine, cisplatin, pembrolizumab, for instance, in first line. And that has been done by industry, only by industry. But what is interesting is that we are coming back to academic initiatives. And this is a friendly academic initiative of collaboration between UK and especially John Bridgewater, who has done a lot of work in UK about this disease, and David Malka and Julien Lin in France, that are working together, and they have built a trial with first a period of treatment with the standard of care, and then for patients with actionable mutation, a randomization between continuation of the first line or a move to a targeted therapy. So I would say this is really a very nice example of what we can do, but it took 4 years to build this trial. 4 years of discussion with industry to get this drug. So this is something that is quite, I would say, quite difficult. And just an example to show how it could be coming from something that is another example of what has been discussed this morning and in the afternoon. This is one disease, but after that, this is 3 different diseases, and concerning biological abnormalities, a lot of different diseases. So rare subgroups among rare diseases, but at the end, we are able to build something at the European level. At least I am not sure that UK is in Europe, but I don't want to discuss that now. Maybe later.
In Europe, but not EU.
Okay. So if we are coming back now to therapeutic innovation in poor prognosis cancer, the example of pancreatic cancer, this is also something that is interesting, I would say, because at the beginning, the new drugs came from the plural, one drug came from industry, gemcitabine. After that, FOLFIRINOX was partially developed with industry. There was a support of industry for oxaliplatin to give the drug oxaliplatin and irinotecan and to support a little bit the trial. I did that with Professor Thierry Conroy. But at the end, it was a fine funded by the public money, and especially the Programme Hospitalier de Recherche Clinique that is led by INCA. So again, it's a mix and a good mix at the end. And after that, there was a parallel development of gemcitabine and nab-paclitaxel. We discussed that already, completely from industry. And the fight between gemcitabine, nab-paclitaxel, and FOLFIRINOX was very difficult because in terms of marketing, it was completely a problem to promote FOLFIRINOX because there was absolutely no marketing to promote FOLFIRINOX when Celgene, after the approval of nab-paclitaxel, came with a marketing that gave them the opportunity to take the complete lead, especially in the US. And now we are moving to triplet chemotherapy with NALIRIFOX because NALIRI is a drug that is irinotecan a little bit different, and there is new marketing about that. So this is, and I say that to imagine that we have to imagine collaboration between industry and academic network, European academic network particularly. It has been already discussed by Pascal Hamel. This is the new drug, the KRAS inhibitors. This is really a hope for the patient. And actually, it has been, and the study, the accrual in the study stopped because it was very, very, very fast. Second-line treatment of these patients with KRAS inhibitors. It seems to work, I would say, to my clinical experience, because I treat some patients. But the fact is that it is in second line, but they just want to have some proof of concept in second line. They are preparing first-line trial, and they are even preparing adjuvant trial that will compete, for instance, to SPAC trial, because they want to give the drug to a lot of patients. So they are coming very fast to the very, very large group of patients. But what we need also is patients that are resistant to drugs, and it will be difficult, more and more difficult to get that. Another example is the development of vaccines. It's even more complicated to develop vaccines. Some of these vaccines are developed by academic laboratories, but after that, to move from this level of academy to something that is, I would say, available for everybody is something that is very, very, very difficult. I will skip that. A major problem, to my opinion, I forgot the M, I apologize for that, concerning poor prognosis cancer is that it has been already said also by Pascal, patients included in the trial are highly selected. And the patients that are interesting for industry are patients very, very highly selected. For instance, for the Revolution Medicine trial, we had to send all the data concerning the patients to the industry, to the lab, to the company. And they said, green light or red light. So if they consider that the patients for any clinical, even if we were in the right inclusion criteria, they were able to say us, no, we don't want these patients into the trial. So it means at the end, I am sure that the drug will work, but it means at the end that the population that will be treated in this trial will be very, very selected. And what we need for the treatment of this poor prognosis cancer is drug, maybe not the same drug, but at least drugs for a lot of patients. And if we consider the toxicity profile of these KRAS inhibitors, I would say that it is not so difficult to give it to, there is skin toxicity. Major problem is skin toxicity. But to give that to patients, even if they are quite poor prognosis performance status, it's not so difficult. But the fact is that the industrial company doesn't want to go in this direction. So we continue to need really academic trials, and we need some balance between academy and industry, because we cannot do anything without industry. But I think that industry is doing what is important for industry, that is bringing new drugs on the market, but after that, earning money to develop other new drugs that they will bring to the market. It's obviously the work of industry. Something that is interesting too, a concept that I wanted to discuss with you too, is the fact that something that we consider as a poor prognosis cancer, we have seen a lot of definition about that, could change in a short period of time. And I put the example of BRAF V600E mutated colorectal cancer. In the past, it was considered for these patients that the improvement of the treatment of metastatic colorectal cancer was not very active for these patients. It's a group of patients with a median overall survival that remains at 12, 13 months. So very short median overall survival. We have seen this year at the very recent ASCO meeting, the results of the Breakwater meeting study. The combination of encorafenib, cetuximab, whatever, it's not important, plus FOLFOX, is able to give now a 30 months, 30 years, would be great, 30 months of median overall survival to this patient. So it means that it has changed in 1 year or something like that. So this field is changing quite rapidly, and we have to consider that. To focus a little bit about what I was asked to speak is we have seen already some European initiative that focus specifically on research. We know that there is EuRTC. I was chair of the GI group in the past, of the GI group of EuRTC. It's very long to put a trial in place with EuRTC because they don't want to have so many trials that they cannot, because they are working on all the cancers. So it took me, for instance, 3 years to do a trial on cholangiocarcinoma, and after that, 2 years to get the data on 50 patients, and I had a publication about 7 years or something like that. So I don't think that EuRTC is able, really, even if I like EuRTC, I will be to the General Assembly of EuRTC tomorrow morning. I like EuRTC, but I think this is not the right answer to that. There are other opportunities, for instance, there is some network that has been presented recently, the European Network for GI Cancer, that is led by FFCD, a Prodigy group, a French group, and especially Julien Taïeb, who published that. But the fact is that this is a network, but without money. So if there is an idea that is promoted by an industry, they discuss that, And they say, okay, we can do that in France with this guy, in Germany with this guy, and in Italy with this guy, but you have, the industry, to give money to all this, to put that together. So it means the industry remains behind that, and academic questions cannot be solved by this kind of network. So I think I will go very rapidly now and finish on this slide. So I think that we have to discuss also the endpoints and outcomes for patients with poor prognosis cancer, because overall survival is absolutely the key. But quality of life, to my opinion, is very important. And the balance between quality of life and overall survival is something that we have to discuss. And what will change and is already changing is the fact that precision medicine, adaptive trials, and use of biomarkers has to be the future of the development of in this poor prognosis cancer. I think that it has been said already, data technology, a lot of data are needed for that. Artificial intelligence will help us to do that. Digital patient monitoring for quality of life is also something important. And I think that we have to fund that, to find funding resources, because the need is obviously very important. We need a lot of money. The cost of these trials will increase because we have to pay for drugs, we have to pay for trial, we have to pay for biologic tools in this trial. So this is my conclusion and key factors. It's really not easy. I think it is important to do it, and we have to do it. We need to adapt a little bit maybe the endpoint of the trial. There is a major role of biology, biological markers, sequencing, signature. We have to put that into this kind of very, very, I would say, clever trial that will become more and more expensive. So money is the key, to my opinion. And we have to find some balance between industry and academy, and to put patient advocacy and stakeholder in this reflection. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot to take into account, as usual, when we have three panelists. Do we have questions from the floor straight away? Yes, we do.
This is for you. Last speaker, I want to mispronounce your last name. I apologize. Do you think that moving these pancreas trials more to the first line will be a trend, or basically, as Revolution Medicine is doing these large multi-arm phase 1s and then jumping straight into a phase 3, just bypassing the randomized phase 2 altogether? Do you think that's going to become more and more of the norm moving forward?
I think the problem of pancreatic cancer is that you are losing a lot of patients when you are moving from first line to second line. So, for them to get a proof of concept, to be sure that their drug is active, they do that because nobody is there, and this is. But after that, I can tell you, because I am working with them, they are preparing first-line and event-driven trials. So it means at the end, for KRAS inhibitors, there will be a huge competition in first line between selective G12D versus pan-KRAS or pan-RAS or something like that. But a sequential evaluation of this drug. And for instance, is it good to start with a pan-RAS inhibitor and then to move to a more specific G12D inhibitor, or the opposite? I try first the specific one and then I move to the pan-RAS because there are development of mutation, other mutation. I am quite sure that nobody will do that.
Thank you.
There's also the question, an online question, regarding...
I got an online question. I think it is the first one of the afternoon.
No, we had one before. But for the afternoon, yes. But it's
for the afternoon, so I was right.
It's related perhaps to the balance between academic and industry, and they're talking about the definition of this very, very select group that would be more interesting for industry. How can you answer that? Could you explain that a bit more?
I am not sure I got the question. What?
Yeah, to explain how this select group is more interesting for industry, and how can we address that concern when we have that?
But you know, if the academy, I would say probably academy is strong in terms of knowledge, in terms of translational medicine that can be done in collaboration. And if we are fast to the development of concept with industry, sometimes we can get some good proposal for them. But this is a very huge competition because they have a lot of money, so they can do a lot of things by themselves. For instance, organoids started in the academic world, and now organoids are done by industry and so on. So we have to be very fast, I would say.
And hence your call for more funding on the academic side to make sure that there's less say, perhaps, from industry. Perhaps just a quick question. We're running very late, but just a very quick question for Marissa, because we had the definition, the focus on pancreatic cancer. What about the other poor prognosis cancers? What's the view regarding them in the future when it comes to the definitions and the criteria for the G7 initiative?
So you mean the other than pancreatic cancer? Yes, thank you very much. We are also aware that some countries are focusing on other cancers too, except for the pancreatic cancer. So we should take a stepwise approach, starting from the pancreatic cancer and expand it to the other cancers too in the future.
Okay, so that's on the drawing board. Same question for you for the Jane 2 initiative. Your network of expertise, could that go beyond pancreatic lung cancers, which is the case at the moment?
Yes, we are focusing on lung cancer and pancreatic cancer right now, but we are also thinking about unknown primary. It is very crucial, and our friends, especially from France, are focusing on this, trying to focus. But still, we are thinking about one general network of expertise for poor prognosis cancers, but when it came to details, it appeared that it's not possible to do so. So we had to choose two, and we are hoping that after that we will be able to also create other domains.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that all the efforts that can help to build networks that are able to discuss after that with industry for clinical research are very, very important, because what they want is to get patients, I would say sample now, blood and so on, and good discussion. And after that, if it is something that can be proposed by networks, academic networks, we can find some approval between them.
So uniting across borders. Thank you very much to our three participants. Thank you very much.